Hello, my name is George, and today I'm going to be walking through a Python song translator that I made. A pretty simple program, but useful. So, first I'm going to run this file and walk through how the program works, and then I'll walk through the code. And as always, the code will be provided, the whole project will be provided in the description of the video. So run the code. Here we're going to enter our title. We'll get a list of songs that from a search, and then we'll enter the song that we want to choose. After that, we're going to get the lyrics for the song, and then we'll see here that the txt file is here, and it has the song lyrics. And we're asked if we want to edit any lines of the lyrics. So usually the first and the last line have some added words to it that we want to get rid of. So we're going to edit the first line. And we're just going to go ahead here and copy what we want to keep. Enter. Then we're also going, so we can see here that the line is now updated. We're also going to edit line 20. And we just want it to have these. Line update successfully. Now that we're complete, everything looks good. We'll go ahead and enter 0. And this program, the translation for it uses ISO 639-1 language codes. And if we want to see a list of language codes, we'll go ahead and press Y. And this gives us all the codes here that can be used to translate. And then we'll get a prompt, what language is the song in? So this song is in Italian. So we'll do IT, which is the code. Should be alphabetical order. There you go. And then we're going to do English, which is EN. We're going to be prompted song language, IT, translate into English, make sure it's correct. Go ahead, press yes. And then it'll translate it. It says completed. We'll see our file. We go here. I'll make the terminal a little smaller. And now we have our song here translated with the original language on top and the translated language on the bottom. And this is using Google Translate, so it's pretty accurate, but it doesn't have all the context. So for example, like this final one, this is a literal translation, but not really the real meaning of this line. So that is how this works. And now I'm going to quickly walk through the code of this program. So we'll go ahead, I guess we'll keep this open for now. Go to main.py. This kind of just has the entire walkthrough that we're doing. If we're just looking at the files first. Main is the entire walkthrough of the program. Utils contains all of the functions that we use. So we go back to main. We'll start at the top. First, we use Genius to get the lyrics of the songs that we're looking for. So that's the only thing that you'll have to do is you'll have to create an app on Genius and get your keys for that app. And you can, once you find those keys, you can change them right up here, however if you want to enter them here or make a keys.py file, this is how that's done. So that's the only thing you need to do to make this work for yourself. And then once we get our access token, so we can use the app and we can access the API, we'll go ahead and start the song search process. Here, we'll get the song title from the user, then we'll utils song search. So song search is this function here, and this just uses Genius's API. You pass in the access token that we got before, we pass in the title, and then we create a results dictionary and print out those results. Okay, and once we get the results dictionary, we display that display that dictionary, and that's what we saw at the beginning. right here, the list of songs. Then we select a song that we want, and here we get the ID of that song because that's what's used to look up the lyrics. Then we also get the title to make the file name. So this is the file name is the title that comes in. And we also take out these characters here so that we're able to make the txt file, because if the file cannot include those characters. So those are removed. Then we get the lyrics using the Genius API, and that is in utils. Lyrics search. And this actually, so it doesn't use exactly the Genius API, but a library called Genius Lyrics Genius. So that's his library that we use because the Genius API doesn't provide the lyrics themselves. They do not provide those lyrics. They only provide the song ID and the song search is like what we did. But the Genius, this other library, uses Beautiful Soup to get the lyrics for us. So we're going to pass in the ID, which is the Genius ID that we got from the Genius API, into this other library. And then we write out those lyrics into the txt file. Now we have the lyrics, we print out those lyrics for the users. We use enumerate so that we can enter in each line. And then we start editing. We ask the user if they like to edit any lines, and we edit lines. 0, they break. And then here, we're just going to be updating that txt file. So once they say what line they want to replace, we subtract 0 to get the real index since it's a 0-based index, but we don't display, it's not 0-based for the user interface, or if you call this user interface. And then we read all the lines into a file. And wait, do we call, let's see here, line to index. Yeah, here it is, okay. Line to replace. This here updates the selected line in the entire list of lines and then writes it back to the file. So we get a list of all of the lines. We replace the item in the list, which the line in the list, and then we write that entire list back to the file. Line is updated successfully. We have a little pause in between so that users can read the message that's being given. And then we get into the translation part. So this is just so that giving those instructions, pretty straightforward. If they want to see the codes, then we do the print languages, which this comes from the Google Translate library. It's just a dictionary of all the languages and codes. So that will print out the languages for us. This function here, just pretty simple, just going through the dictionary and printing it out. And then we get so this prints out the library if they want it or not. And then we prompt the user to enter the language that the song is in and what language they want it to be translated to. Then we prompt them to make sure it's correct. If not, it'll just go back to the beginning and they can re-enter those. Once it's correct, then we begin the translation, which we pass in the selected song title, which is just so that we can access the same file, the song language, which is the original language the song is in, and the translate language. And that is done here. We open up the original file and we read the lines into a list. Then we we open it as read, then we open it again as write, and then we loop over those lines. We strip the end characters, then we translate each line if it's not an empty line, and then we write that line into the file, and we do that for each line. So one reads in the original lyrics, and this one translates it. And I like adding parentheses around it and then 2 extra spaces. So first we have the line, then there's 1 backspace end character, then the translation, then 2 backspaces for 2 lines there. and that's the format that is in. So if you do want to change the format of how this comes in, you can do that here. So that is this program. If you have any questions or have any things that have anything to share, please feel free to let me know. Thank you.